Sir, welcome. Good morning, Silvat sir.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir. Good morning.
Good morning, good morning, sir. Good morning.
Online. Good morning, sir.
खोलो ये रखिए ना टेबल पे।
So, shall we start?
Yes.
Okay. The very good morning to one and all present here, respected Suresh Silvet sir, Kishore Bengal sir, OS Deshmukh sir, and our today's research scholar, DK Gaur sir, and all participant research scholars, professors. I welcome you all on behalf of the International College Research Center. And with the permission of chair, I'll request Gaur sir to start with his presentation.
Thank you. Respected Suresh sir, respected Dr. Deshmukh sir, respected Vangal sir, my guide also, respected Shamal sir, and other distinguished member of education fraternity present online. So let me put on record my sincere thank for giving me an opportunity to present this work. So with your permission, shall I start, sir?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. So the title of the research is Study of Steel Industry in India and its contribution to global steel sector. Myself, Deepak Kumar God, and my guide is Dr. Kishore Vangal, sir. So, as I have been briefed that to cover it, so I will start with introduction, then I will go with the objective, then hypothesis and conclusions. So, the index is introduction. Sir. So, the index basically that covers the all introduction and historical background.
वो आ जाए वहाँ भूजन भेजी ना बेटा डीके गुप्ता को
Followed by literature review and research gap. Thereafter, this research methodology, objectives of the study, hypothesis, the secondary data, then qualitative primary data.
मैं तेरे को कॉपी दे दूं तू जजवा ले किसी से मेरी बात सुन मैं तेरे को कॉपी दे दूं तू जिससे जजवा ले मेरे विश्वास हो जाएगा हाँ तो मैं तेरे को बोल रहा हूँ तू जिसको भी लिया बाहर के आदमी को मैथमेटिक्स के हाँ कर रहा हूँ ना बेटा ठीक है बेटा हो जाएगा 8 दिन के अंदर ठीक है
Then qualitative primary data and its interpretation, conclusions, suggestions and limitations. So the introduction and historical background that India is among top 2 steel producing countries in the world, but at the same time, it's not even in the top 10 exporter of the steel in the globe. At first sight, it seems advantageous that we are consumption-based economy and are not dependent on this global scenario. But on the other side, it is a hard fact that any economy needs more and more foreign currency for the nation. The question is that can we expect from steel industry to help us improve our net export? So instead of few among steel usage and production innovators, our steel industry is currently found trapped because of the globalization and this pricing war and dumping internationally. Globalized economy creates great competition, caps profit throwing all lights on economies of scale, productivity, and thus on technology. So my current work intends to study steel industry in India with reference to productivity, contribution in development of economy,
ये वेबसाइट
demand supply gap,
मैं पक्ष में लिखा है।
international presence, and finally the projections of upcoming trends. To study also aim to analyze the industry by SWOT analysis and thus identify the better way forward. So India is any economy which is doing good. That basically is the one of the factor is the higher the steel production developed the country is. So this was the basic rule established in hundreds of years. While studying various aspects of steel industry, it is very important to throw some light on historical steel industry in India. The iron and steel industry, being one of the largest industries in India, has a significant impact on the Indian economy. India ranked as the third largest producer. Now I can say it's second largest producer of raw steel, then 3 consecutive years from 2014 to 2016. Iron and steel industry is at the fundamental of globalization, and it's one of those industries that have direct or indirect ties with every other industry. So these metals are used in construction, in automobiles, to build transports, even gadgets and robots. So there is a little bit of steel in everybody's life. So thus it makes the steel industry a very significant and prominent one.
इसको उसमें डाल दो।
So earlier attempts were made in around 1800 when Duncan from East India Company made the very first attempt for the same, which soon met its end. Another attempt was made by Jos Mars Harth, who established the first iron and steel unit at Porlo Novo, Madras. In the year 1830, this plant, though, could not succeed and was shut down in 1860. So, beginning of the modern iron and steel industry, the pioneer of this modern iron and steel industry was Jamshedji Nusarwanji Tata, whose foresightedness brought us. He founded one company, this Tata Iron and Steel Company Limited in Jamshedpur. He started searching for the primary raw material, and the belt was very abundant of iron ore. However, for over 20 years, he could not make no advancement because of the restrictive mining laws in force at that time. Referring to these laws, Lower Stresser remarks, the Indian regulation for mining and prospecting seemed carefully devised to obstruct and prevent development. So there were many companies during that era. The first was Tata Iron and Steel Company Limited. Then Indian Iron and Steel Company Limited, Mysore Iron and Steel Company Limited, and other small steel producing units. So after independence, then the Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru, he organized this Panchvarshiya Yojana, that first 5-year plan from 1951 to 1956, where the emphasis was given on steel being the integral part of industrial development, assumed the important space in the first 5-year plan proposed by the Planning Commission of India. So the total crude steel production in India, so that is increasing at the rate of this. If we see the CAGR of 6.4% during 2008 to 2019. So with countries' productivity reaching 106.4 million tons per annum in financial year 2019. So in this year, we surpassed the production of Japan, and we become the world's second largest steel producer in 2019. Earlier, we were holding the third place, but in 2019, we got the second place with crude steel production of 111.2 million tons. So there are many advantages in India because of this robust demand, infrastructure development, increased investment, and competitive competitive advantage and policy support. So I am skipping few of the slides. I am going on the direct objectives, if you permit, sir.
Deepak sir, actually your PPT is not visible to us. Kindly share your PPT also.
PPT.
Just click on present now again and share your PPT again.
It's visible, sir.
Yes, now it's visible. Yes, go ahead.
Sorry for the inconvenience, sir. So these are the figures when we, these are the crude steel, global crude steel production. The figures are from 1990 to 2019. So I am skipping few slides and moving to the objective, if you permit, sir. So the objective of research is to study the overview of steel industry, to analyze performance and emerging trends in India's steel industry, to study the contribution of Indian steel industry in world steel business, to conduct SWOT analysis of Indian steel industry, and to project the way forward. The scope of the research: the current research includes its preview the steel industry in India specifically and international steel industry, foreign exchange, impact of reforms on this industry, technology, natural resources, and contribution in GDP in connecting sense. So the scope is core production. The steel is core production sector for India. Steel is foundation of industrialization for every country. There is significant contribution of this industry in international trade. India ranks second most for the production of iron and steel in India. Iron and steel is made from iron ore, and iron ore, we are the one of the we are holding one of the largest reserves in India for iron ore. So the industry is one of the backbones of development. Various policies are made according to the production, distribution, pricing, trade, etc., in this industry. Steel industry is the mother of all industry, as it helps other secondary industries, whether it is while construction, then engineering products, and all in all areas the steel is used and also helps in national development. So it is one of the vital aspects of stable growth and economic development, as steel and iron both have high demand due to their cost, which is efficient, durable for a longer period, and easily used. So per capita consumption of these materials is high due to increasing demand. So it is the basic need for the development of various other industries. So the research hypothesis: cheaper steel imports are posing a major challenge to Indian steel industry. An investment in technology is necessary for revitalizing Indian steel industry. Research design is more of a qualitative nature. Of course, the financial with reference to the industry, international business, foreign exchange, GDP contribution, and impacting factors will have to be analyzed quantitatively. So, based on that, sampling plan was devised, and as this research, this is mix of qualitative and quantitative data. So the quantitative data like production, exports, foreign currency earned, contribution on GDP will be mostly has been mostly gathered through the secondary sources. The other side, the qualitative part, which serves the very basic purpose of this current research, has been gathered through the interview schedules, which allowed us to gain information from specialists in the field that we have less qualified or knowledgeable in. As in the current case, expert in the steel industry can only figure out critical issues while responding to the expert survey. Expert survey contains open-ended questions that are designed to receive vital content, providing the freedom for the experts to demonstrate their knowledge. So, universe of study, they included the senior executives, even the director levels persons of the steel manufacturing companies and senior officers in relevant government departments make up the universe of the current study. Though the quantitative size of the current universe is very small, qualitatively it is a big universe. To assess the issues in current study, so 600 top executives, including directors of 20 top steel producing companies like Jindal, Tata, ArcelorMittal, and JSW. So, and both from private and public sectors like SAIL, and about 100 senior officers from relevant government departments in all, about 700 from this universe. So, as a simple, there is, although there is no number game, but in general, the old rule seems to keep hold that you keep asking as long as you are getting different answer responding to a qualitative survey. So
Oh,
that is,
yeah.
and that is a reminder that with our little samples we can't establish frequencies, but we should be able to find the range of responses as good as the purpose is sold. Number holds lesser importance. It seemed viable and justified to register the opinion of about 10% of the experts, which comes to 70 in the current case. Then the chapter scheme that comprises of introduction and review of literature, as all told, research methodology, research and secondary data, qualitative primary data, and interpretation, conclusion, suggestions, and limitation. So hypothesis has already been covered up those, with my findings and conclusions. In the past few years, it has been observed that the growth of the steel sector is positively correlated with the overall growth of the economy. Even though the world average, or the developed countries average contribution of steel in the GDP is around 10 to 11%, but in our case in India, its share is around 2 to 3%. So the generation of employment is large through steel plants. This has great potential to boost the economy in coming years. Since last many years, economic growth is directly correlated to economic progress of the country. So an example of this is developed country in the current scenario. So China's growth after its independence has shown how the steel industry grew and become the top steel producer in the world. And the China is producing more than 58% of world steel. So a research report by Oxford Economist states that the steel industry in industries related to steel accounts for 10.7% of the GDP of developed countries. India, in this reference, has a lot or to achieve from its current 2 to 3% share in GDP. So there is tremendous scope for the steel industry, and if we see from this global perspectives. So it is also seen that the governments take up this lion's share in structural and development projects. So the economy is going down, which indirectly boosts the steel economy. So there are some responses that all this is not enough to predict growth story of this sector. Following more pointers justify the growth prediction of the sector. Expected rise in consumption due to increased infrastructure construction and thriving automobile and railway sectors. Now metro is also prospering, that comes in the railway sector. So various new edge cutting technology are coming with advanced solution of many industrial problems, which may help in growth of steel sector. High investment in steel sector, policy support in India, which is very helpful for smooth functioning of steel sector. When asked about challenges to the growth of steel sector in India, summary of responses of expert in this reference is like that. The major challenge the steel sector is facing is China's domination in this sector. China has been dominating this sector for decades, and also it is having a wide range of products at cheaper rates. So that is because of economy of scale. Apart from the Chinese agency try to infiltrate through different channels to our country's market. At present scenario, lack of raw material like domestic iron ore, coal, more expensive transport, and power are also some challenges. So these were the responses recorded, and when asked about this, expert listed out following technological changes that they expect in Indian steel sector to get competitive advantage in steel production. Then more digitalization and advanced equipment are required. The other change required is high automation. Many companies are operating with manual intervention. High level of automation and the digital way can help to increase the production capabilities. Automation in this sector is tough, but yet not impossible, and automated quality check at every point can be competitive advantage. More and more automobile companies are coming for that. Quality is the major criteria, so they want to import the steel. So use of low grade ores with better quality of the product is required, and use of scrap at maximum level. So in past few years, government started eyeing privatization. They are demonetizing the assets. So some steps has been taken. So government is looking forward to maximum governance, but with fewer government officials. And they have come up with this national steel policy in 2017. So which they aim to produce around 300 million ton of steel from the existing capacity of 110 million ton. So expert some suggestions have also from the government to get the competitive advantage in steel production in India. Government should support steel mills to compete in international market by giving relaxation on duties and taxes. Lower power cost is required because power is one of the raw material for producing steel. Reduced custom duty on imported raw material, and land availability at right area at reasonable rates for financial benefits. So government should support industry by implementing more schemes like national steam policy, which they have come in 2017, to export to other developed markets where a quality product of our country's name can create space. So ban on steel dumping from China and other countries. High import duty on steel should be imposed for such countries, and low cost transport is required. So waterway channels, and these are the views from the expert. So current study was focused to study the industry in India with reference to productivity, contribution in development of economy, demand supply gap, SWOT analysis. So thus identify the better forward. Instead of few among steel usage and production innovators, our steel industry is currently, because of this pricing war, the globalized economy creates great competition. So steel industry, because the steel industry was delicensed and decontrolled in 91 and 92 respectively. The growth of steel industry started in 1990. 1 and 2. So until then, the iron and steel sector was largely dominated by the public sector. This TISCO, the sole exception being TISCO. After liberalization, substantial privatization investments flowed in, and the public sector share in the total production steel declining when the private shares start coming up. Large scale producer in the private sector brought with them world class technology and capacities like Chorus technology for iron making, producing cheaper source for steel, twin shell electric arc furnace, and thin slab casting compact stick mill. All these technology development they start coming when the privatization started. So public and private sector production of crude steel during 1991 was 46% and 54%, while at present in 2017-18 it was 20%. 20% for the public sector and 80% for the private sector. The case is now reversed. The public sector sharing is limited and the private sharing is implemented. So some of the suggestion from this research was that we need strong research and development in the area of steel production from this steel production, without which we cannot compete with China. So there is a strong requirement of low cost transport network, because our transport cost is very high when we have discussed with we have experts. So because of transport, the end product cost is increasing. So viability to export at globally competitive, that is becoming unviable. So we need to have high import duties to stop low cost steel coming to India, imported from China. To stay in the competitive environment, we need to have low import duties on equipment required in steel sectors. So our steel industry expects power at lower cost, better financing opportunity are expected to MSME, because there are many SMEs in steel sectors which can manage value addition work like hot rolling, cold rolling, some other things, value added things they can do. We need to have industry friendly steel scrap recycling policy. So we need to have better steel imports monitoring system. So these are some suggestions. So limitation, though the current research deals with contribution of steel industry in India to global sector, the primary study is conducted through interview schedules in India only. The study of global scenario is based only on secondary study. So the study is focused for the period 2006 to 2016. Though the major changes industrial sector in India occurred in India around 19 when delicensed and decontrolled this in 1991. So there are some these are the references refer books. So some books published. So these are the list. And thank you very much for hearing me, for your time, sir. Thank you so much. And if any question, I'm here to answer, sir.
दीपक
सर।
जी, आप मेरे 2-4 क्वेश्चनों का जवाब दे दें।
सर,
पहला तो आपने इस विषय का चयन क्यों किया?
Sir, I have been associated with steel industry for more than 27 years. So this is my part of profession. I have worked with various steel companies, and I realized that steel industry can do great, can contribute to much extent what it has been doing at present.
ठीक है। स्टील उद्योग के समक्ष आज सबसे बड़ी समस्या क्या है?
Sir, as I try to convey, I try to cover up, the main is the cheaper import. Despite the world's second largest producer of steel, we are not even in top 10 of the exporters. So we are still importing in during last financial year, say last to last, we have imported around 10 million ton of steel. So because of prices, so our competitive advantages that are challenging, sir. These are the biggest three.
थर्ड पॉइंट, क्या आजकल रंगीन स्टील भी प्रचलन में आ रहा है? क्या एक बात और क्वेश्चन आ रहा है,
सॉरी सर,
भारत इस दिशा में अपना मार्केट बढ़ा सकता है क्या?
सर
दो क्वेश्चन है इसमें, क्या रंगीन है और इसमें भारत अपना योगदान दे पा रहा है कि नहीं बढ़ा रहा है इंडस्ट्री में, स्टील उद्योग में?
सर प्रेजेंटली color coated steel is gaining importance for this structural application, shed and other things. So Jindal, Tata and 2-3 players are there. They 2-3 players are there. So biggest player is Jindal and Tata for this color coated sheets. So color coated steel, there one is galvanizing steel they are coming with, and second is color coated steel they are coming with. So Indian market is growing in this sector, and I don't have right figures, but India is not importing much color coated steel. It's almost negligible. So Indian production of color coated steel is satisfactorily growing.
कौन गया साहब के लिए? अच्छा, मेरा लास्ट पॉइंट, आपके शोध का सबसे प्रमुख निष्कर्ष क्या है? ये पीएचडी लिखने का मेन पॉइंट और इसका निष्कर्ष क्या निकला है?
Sir, two things that one is the Indian steel industry is getting adversely affected because of this low price of Chinese products that coming in India. That is that products are being imported from China. So, and the second is the technologically we are far behind the global players. So we need to invest in technology. Our base is that cheaper labor cost, but that will not help us in to get the economies of scale. So we have to invest in technologies, so to get the economies of scale.
अच्छा, आदरणीय देशमुख साहब हैं? देशमुख साहब को मेरा नमस्कार। विजय विभाग,
नमस्ते नमस्ते सर,
कैसे हैं?
अच्छा है सर।
आप संतुष्ट हैं इसके जवाब से?
हाँ हाँ
और वांगल साहब आप?
हाँ, मैं भी संतुष्ट हूँ सर। ओके ओके।
और व्यवहार जी का है? आज व्यवहार जी ने परेशान कर दिया मेरे को आपके वाइवा के लिए।
बोयर ने, हाँ
वायर जी।
हाँ
सलत जी कैसे हैं आप? रुईकर जी
सर बढ़िया।
आप ही का नाम दंडवते दिख रहा है यहाँ, आपका नाम तो सलत वो रुईकर जी है।
हाँ सर, एक्चुअली मैंने रिसर्च सेंटर के आईडी से लॉगिन किया है।
अच्छा,
दैट्स व्हाई।
चलिए मिस्टर दीपक गौर, आपको बधाई बहुत बहुत। आप लोग हैं, इलाज मत करना व्यक्ति का।
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
थैंक यू सर, थैंक यू।
आपको वांगल साहब को धोख दीजिए और देशमुख साहब को।
Yes, sir. Vangal sir, are you satisfied with this viva and do you recommend him for award of PhD degree?
ओके
Yes.
ओके सर, थैंक यू। ओके
थैंक यू सर।
ओके सर।
Deshmukh sir, are you satisfied with this viva and do you
Yes
recommend
sir,
him for the award of
being the head of the institute, I proceed further and for communication and giving the best wishes for the awardee for award of the PhD. I'm
Thank you,
thankful to the examiner also. Thanks sir.
ओके सर, ओके।
Thanks.
थैंक यू सर, थैंक यू।
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
थैंक यू।
Thank you.
So with the permission of external examiner, okay, from the participants, I would like to ask